What's up YouTube? Welcome back or welcome to my channel if it's your first time. I'm Pixie Dust and this is Pixie Dust and Spirit Alchemy, where we talk about all sorts of taboo, occult, or strange, sort of weird type things. And today's video, guys, I'm pretty excited to be doing because for those that have been watching this channel for a little while, or not, maybe you've just recently come across here and may or may not have seen my other videos on my Wealth Magick reviews. Now, the book that I'm referring to, or what I'm referring to in this, is the Wealth Magick book by Damon Brand. It is a Gallery of Magick book. Say hello to Bella, my cat, and another guest. But anyways, guys, today's video is going to be my Wealth Magick review and / update 1 year later. So I'm excited to do this and let you guys know where I'm at from after having finished Wealth Magick a year ago, a little bit over a year ago, and comparing that to where I was when I began it about a year and a half ago. So let's get started. If you're not familiar, this is the book that I'm referring to, Wealth Magick by Damon Brand, another Gallery of Magick book. I have completed this ritual once in my life. I started it last year, about March, I believe. I have a little journal log that I kept to keep track of where I was with my rituals. And you know, for those that have done Wealth Magick or are doing it currently, you know that it is a detailed ritual. It is a series of rituals, about 6, I think, 6 or 7. 7 actually, wait, no, 6, I'm sorry. No, 7, there are 7. So 7 rituals, beginning to end, and it takes about, you know, if you do it all together without skipping any days, I think it takes about 4 or 5 months. Maybe, but I definitely skip days in between here and there because it's draining to do a lot of magic that consistently every day. Even if the rituals are slightly different, you know, but it just gets, you know, it drains us of energy, or it just takes energy, not necessarily draining us, but it takes energy. You know, sometimes we get off work late or whatever. So just so you know, it is okay to miss days here and there, right? As long as you complete everything in the order that they want and stuff. So before I began Wealth Magick, I was very, very new into just magic in general. I mean, I've always had the interest, you know, I've always been a magical person, but especially with the Gallery of Magick, I was only recently introduced by my friend Arjuna, who, if you're familiar with my channel, you've seen us work together on videos a couple times. He introduced me to the Magical Cash book. I actually came across his YouTube video, where he does a review of Wealth Magick, and the word magic caught my eye, because magic, and I was like, what is that? So I looked into it, I asked him about it, and he introduced the book to me, and which led me to doing it myself. So while beginning Wealth Magick, or when I began, I was kind of in a place in life where I had nothing to lose. I was living with just not the most ideal situation. I mean, I had a place. I was grateful to have a place. I had a room in a house, not my house, but a house with roommates, and I had a room. I didn't have a car. I really kind of didn't know what I was doing with my life, you know? Like, I had some ideas, but I'd had these ideas for years, and nothing was evolving. You know, I was kind of getting out of a rut, just kind of a darker time in my life, and kind of getting on my feet, kind of rebuilding in a sense. But I was uncertain where to go and didn't have much motivation at the time. And so I came across Wealth Magick, and I was a little bit intimidated at first because I was like, with the whole magic with the K just seemed a little bit intimidating, because I was like, this must be some real shit. This must be some real magic. And it is. But it is nothing to be afraid of. And let me tell you this now, because if you are, whatever you feel going into any ritual is what you are going to bring into the ritual. So if you have fear regarding Wealth Magick or concerns, get that out of the way. Especially before you get to the 7th working, when you're working with the demon clonic. So, watch, and I'll suggest some of my other Wealth Magick reviews so that we can talk more about my experience with that as well, because I wanted to just do where I am now, and where I started. So anyways, guys, I didn't have a car, wasn't in the most ideal living situation. I didn't really have any direction, or I didn't know how to go about doing what I wanted. I had nothing to lose, essentially. I was in a position where I was like, you know what, sure. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? You know, the worst that happens is what? I stay where I'm at, and what's the worst that could happen? So I tried it. And that was my motivation for trying it, and also because it was a trusted friend that I saw that had introduced me indirectly to it. So I was like, let's do it, I wanted change, this was the catalyst for change that I needed. Wealth Magick is and was and continues to be. So another thing is there's different, it probably varies per case, but I've been told from others that the results from Wealth Magick take up to a year or two or more to manifest fully, right? Just as soon as you're done with the ritual, it's not going to just immediately have all your results, because it's a 6 or 7 month ritual, and it's going to take time for it to manifest how we want it and build on that. So I get a lot of people asking in the comments like, oh, well, you did Wealth Magick, why aren't you rich? I've just stopped answering those questions, guys, honestly, because if you're asking me that, I just hate to break it to you, but it's not fully understanding how the magic works. We don't just snap our fingers or do a ritual and bam, I'm rich. Because first of all, the definition of rich varies for certain people. So the definition of someone else's rich could be different than mine. But I will tell you that compared to where I was before starting Wealth Magick, I am rich. Was over a year ago before starting this, and I'm continuing to grow. So what Wealth Magick has given me now, and what it has provided and is continuing to provide, because I haven't reached the point of the destination point, I guess. I'm still climbing, I'm still going, but I have the direction. Wealth Magick has given me a new living situation. Just within the year of doing Wealth Magick, I moved into a new apartment, which is where I am now, which is a good apartment, a good creative space for me to, express my creativity comfortably. The last place I was at was just very repressed, and I didn't feel comfortable there. I wasn't comfortable there, and that just definitely played in part of my mental health and in my creation abilities as a creator. As an empath, my anxiety was high. So getting a new apartment really helped me to feel more stable, more secure, have that place to go back to, that I can bring friends over to, that I have my cat to run around in. So it provided me with that stability. In addition, I also got a car this year. I worked hard and continued to kind of figure out the direction I wanted to go, and I made a goal to get a car in 2020 by this year, because last year I did a lot of traveling, so car wasn't my priority. It was to travel as much as I could. The car was this year, and I made it happen. And there were also, it also helped with an angel Yalahia from the 72 Angels of Magic, which I've talked about in another video, but the Wealth Magick definitely manifested that to get me to the point where, I'm going to have enough income, a stable income, to be able to pay for the car and finance the car and maintain it, and be responsible with it, to take care of it. Probably the most important thing that Wealth Magick has given/done for me is I have a direction. A better direction. I'm able to envision what I want to do, and I'm happy to be doing it. I enjoy doing it. In addition, I've also had the motivation to start my book that I'm working on, and to see where I want these things to take me in the future, in years to come. Because right now, some of these projects I have, I hoped that they would be money-making tools or money-making investments in the future. But right now, I'm putting my time and effort into it in order for it to, be that for me and for whoever else in the future as well. I have this direction, you guys. Before, when I started this, I was flopping around. I didn't really know I know what I liked, I know what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to make it work. And things have come together, and even with coronavirus, with all the negativity and just all the BS in the world this year, one blessing that it did give me was leaving my restaurant job and entering into the spirits field, which not meaning like ghosts and stuff, but more so like alcohol. And anyways, you know, beside from that, it just escalated my career. It boosted me in a direction I want to go in, and that I, you know, didn't even really realize would be the right direction. But it just all happened and aligned itself because I was ready and open to it. In addition, what else, the two other things that Wealth Magick has provided for me is, you guys, I have a savings account. Not only that, I have more than one savings account. I now have an interest in investing in stocks, you know, in the stock market. I have a desire to understand and be aware of my own finances, my responsibilities, you know, how I spend my money, how to make the money. More of an interest in becoming financially savvy so that I know and am comfortable and, you know, always have money in the bank, have money to spend, have money to save. And I'm not saying that I have tons of money in the savings account, you know, it's really not a lot in the grand scheme of things, but it's more money than I ever had before. And I'm not struggling as much financially to pay bills. You know, there's the sense of security that I have now that all my bills are going to be taken care of. All my needs are met by my finances. And so it's a matter of how much can I extend past my needs and continue to grow my needs, you know? Because now that we have this is where I now have the baseline, the foundation. Wealth Magick gave me a wealth foundation to build on. And that's something I didn't know that I needed at the time. Or ever, really, you know. But it is ultimately something that I'm so incredibly grateful for. This book has sort of made me more of an adult in a sense, you know, and you know, I'm a bit younger than some of my viewers, I think, you know, so I'm sure I'm mid-20s, but not a whole lot of people are thinking in much depth about their finances. I was in, you know, myself, I was in a position where I was financially independent, you know, and I don't have anybody to pay for my things, so it was all on my shoulders. So I was like, how can I do something about this? And this book was the answer I didn't know that I needed at the time. And it's still continuing to unfold. So just within 1 year, I began Wealth Magick in, like I said, February, March of last year, and ended it in September, the end of September of last year, of 2019. So March to September, that's about 6 months. From February to September, 6-7 months. With a couple breaks here and there. And within that year even, alone, my jobs, you know, there were shifts and some changes in my work environment or in my jobs, and that was the beginning of when I was traveling and when I started to think about creating a lifestyle of wealth and have the abundance mindset rather than a mindset of scarcity. You know, to be aware of my finances, to be aware of my astrological birth chart, of knowing that my Aquarius moon is in my second house of Capricorn, and so that my emotions are my finances strongly revolve around how I am feeling emotionally, how I am doing emotionally. And that's something good for me to know about myself. You know, in the ways that I spend, because I can be impulsive, or the ways that I save. And because sometimes, you know, there's the fine balance is a fine art, right? And this book doesn't necessarily teach us balance. That's something we have to learn elsewhere. But it teaches us, really it propels us on a trajectory of a new lifestyle based and built on wealth. Relative wealth. You know, because I mean, I have upgraded my situation tenfold since last year, but that doesn't mean I'm a millionaire. You know, I'm you know, middle class, I guess, or whatever. Like, I'm not rich. I'm not Great Gatsby type rich, but I am so much more content personally. Look around and I ask myself, you know, I take a minute to see how I feel and notice the beauty everywhere and ask myself, how did I become so wealthy? Why am I so wealthy? How did I become this wealthy? Why am I this wealthy? And for those that know, that is the daily practice in the first ritual, pre-ritual sort of, in the first 3 weeks of Wealth Magick. And what that does is just set us up for that wealthy mindset. And in my final review video that I made when I finished Wealth Magick, I talked about the daily practice and how it's something that I would still incorporate even after I finish the ritual or the book. And I do. I don't do it every day as diligently, but more recently I've started to do it again. Because I do want to continue to grow on my wealth and grow in my career and move forward in a direction and just learn how to because I'm not perfect. I'm still learning. I'm still just a baby. I don't understand stocks very well, but I'm learning. I have the curiosity, I have the drive, and I have the desire to build a stable and solid foundation for myself so that in the future my family will be taken care of and my friends and I will be taken care of. So that I can plan out and make stupid mistakes with my money now while I'm young and hopefully avoid that in the future. And not everyone has that luxury. Not everyone has the privilege of finding these books at such a young age and going for it, but it's never too late to start it at any age. You're able to do this at any point in time. I have a few other friends. I have a friend now doing Wealth Magick, and he's in his 40s. I've got some in friends of all ages that are doing this. It's never too late to change your life. This time last year I could have never expected where some of my life would stand at this point. And it's exciting. I spoke to a good friend the other day who has done Wealth Magick also, and it has taken him from one side of Canada to another. And he's a different job and going with the flow, just rolling with the tides of how Wealth Magick continues to manifest in his life and following it. And that's essentially what I did too, not fighting it, but just letting it come. And if it feels right, then going with it. So you guys know I'm not rich, I'm not a millionaire, unfortunately. That would be great, but honestly I wasn't trying to become a millionaire by doing this book. I was trying to create change. I needed change in my life. I was desperate for something new, and I was tired of the situation that I was in, and feeling like I was going in a hamster wheel, cycle. I'm sure some people can relate to that feeling. And this book got me out of that. It got me out of that just repetitive nothing that I felt like I was stuck in, the lack of direction, the sense of hopelessness. And honestly, that makes me feel more rich than if I had $1 million in the bank. I say that, but if I had $1 million in the bank, I would probably feel pretty rich. So I'll do a 2-year review even next year if there's more changes to be had still. But for those on the Wealth Magick journey, keep going. Keep going. I know it's draining and it's a lot. It's a big commitment and it takes discipline to stick with it every day, every other day to just finish all the rituals. But if you're doing it, keep going. If you've done it, good job, congratulations. And I hope that, have patience and don't have expectations, right? That's where we mess ourselves up, is if we go into these rituals expecting to come out a billionaire. Because then you're setting yourself up for disappointment, or maybe you are a billionaire, but maybe it just doesn't happen in the way that you thought. Because like I said, wealth is relative, so it will manifest accordingly to the position that we are already in. So, because it still needs to fit our life and our lifestyle and our reality. For anyone also wondering if you should do Wealth Magick, yeah. If you've got nothing to lose, if you're wanting to change your situation and just, ask yourself, what have I got to lose? What could the harm be? If you have any fear about demons, about Clonic in the 7th working, I understand that. I relate to it. I also had slight fear before working with him, and now I do not, because I learned throughout these rituals and just as learning more about magic in general and forces and spirits, that it's really not anything to be feared. Clonic in this ritual is there to serve us. And it's not a full evocation or anything. It's safety. It's safe. And I haven't had anyone that I've heard have a bad experience with him in this ritual. If anything, his ritual is probably the most powerful in the book. And I've heard of people doing it just alone by itself without doing the rest of it. But if you're starting in Wealth Magick, I would do beginning to end. It's only the more experienced ones that have just done the 7th working. But if you've done Wealth Magick and want to maybe go back and do the 7th working, I did that for a couple of days just to I did it a little longer just to build some more of a relationship with Clonic. And I'm still here. Anyways, guys, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. So, or not my story, those are facts. Wealth Magick did very much so work for me. And my friend Arjuna knew me before and after, and has known me when I was at a low point in life recently and a few years back, and has commented on just how he's seen me personally grow from where I was to where I am now. And same with him. When I met him several years ago, it was a completely different, he bought a house this year in 2020 during all this. And let me know about your Wealth Magick experiences too, if you have any. I'd love to hear about them. If you have questions, message me in the comments. I'm about to make a new email so that I can try to get back to him. I apologize if I don't get back to all the questions. I've been having a lot more come in lately, and I'm not a full-time YouTuber, so I don't do this all the time. I have 2 other jobs, but I will get back to them if I can, so be patient. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for enjoying these videos, and just, all the credit goes to the Gallery of Magick. I did not write these books. I am only a human in the world that came across it and read it and did what it said. Alrighty guys, well thank you for watching, and y'all stay safe. Have a good spooky season the rest of October. I hope to maybe get one more video out by the time October's done. If not, then I will. I tried, but there's a lot going on this month. But it's the best month of the year, and until next time guys, you guys be safe and bring love, peace, and joy, and all that, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.